Welcome into the live stream here from McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal. That is Tyler.
What it is, sir?
How are you?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Good.
Good fun day today. Good fun day today.
Yeah, got stuff to get. Got it's kind of like Festivus. Got a grievance or two.
Yeah. This is going to be a turnt up the page Tuesday.
I mean, yeah, a little bit. I got a couple of issues.
I got some too. Should we rename this episode Old Men Yelling at Cloud?
No, because I don't really think what I'm about to do is particularly old man yelling at cloudish. I think it's more how about that? Phil Savage promoted to general manager as an interim general manager for the Jets.
That's my guy.
Phil, one of the nicest people that you will meet in sports.
Yeah, he's a stud. I met him as a scout. I don't remember who he was working for. When he was a scout, I think before he became a GM for the Browns, way back in the Arkansas State days. And then through the years, obviously the Senior Bowl. And then when I was at Alabama, he was part of the radio network. So I saw him every Saturday. So he's good people. I like Phil. Good dude.
Good dude. All right, we'll get rolling here on a Tuesday show. Hope everybody is having a good day. Appreciate you being with us. We'll get cruising here in 1 second. Actually, I do need to open one quick little file here. Let's see.
We got more on TikTok than we do on YouTube. If you're on TikTok, please come over to YouTube. That's right there. The link's in our bio. Come over to YouTube to the MPW Digital YouTube channel. Come hang out. Helps everybody out. Helps the advertisers. Helps everybody. It's hard for me to look at the TikTok chat. Yeah. So link is in our bio. Hit the YouTube button. If you hit the bio, YouTube will bring you right over to MPW Digital. And when you get here, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And it should be a fun show today. So we got more in TikTok than we do YouTube by far.
Welcome into episode 236 of McCready and Siskey, powered by Rain Total Body Fuel. I'm Neal McCready. That is Tyler Siskey here on this Tuesday afternoon. Hope everybody is having a great Tuesday. Turn the page Tuesday. Wonder how the governor's doing these days. A couple weeks removed.
Just turn the page.
Turning the page. We're brought to you by Rain Total Body Fuel, 300 milligrams, natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Scoops, I am rocking with a guava strawberry today. How about that? That's
one of Carson's favorites, I think.
It's really good. It's really good. If you like strawberries, it's really good. Neal, the Cooper Chevrolet chat is already bumping, and it's going to continue to bump today. Remind you, everybody, at Cooper Chevrolet, you can get incredible red tag discounts and Finance Friday deals on other new Chevys, Buicks, pre-owned and certified used vehicles. Over 375 new and used vehicles priced to sell today. You can get rates as low as 0% on the new Chevy models. Make sure you call our good friends at Cooper Chevrolet at area code 256-236-4481. That's area code 256-236-4481, and tell them that your two favorite bald-headed, cloud-yelling-at podcast host sent you. Scoops are also brought to you by our good friend Brandon and our good friends at PTG Outdoors. They are a Caymas boats dealer. They have both fresh and saltwater boats. They sell and service Mercury outboards. They do custom marine electronic installations with Garmin, Humminbird, and Low Ranch products. Get all of your fishing needs and custom golf cart retrofits where they replace all of the batteries with a single lithium battery. We sent somebody today to them to get their golf cart worked on. Locations in Grenada, Mississippi, or more importantly, it doesn't matter if you're on TikTok, if you're on Twitter watching us, if you're on YouTube, go to the online store at ptgoutdoors.com. That's ptgoutdoors.com. And most importantly, remember, because y'all aren't listening to me, I'm going to tell you again, a bunch of people are buying stuff. Make sure in the promo code, you put MPW as the promo code, MPW. So throughout the month of November, if you enter the promo code MPW, it's going to enter you into a drawing to win the Garmin Tread Power Sport GPS Ride Radio. He's giving it away. Enter. It doesn't matter what you buy. You buy some fishing lures, MPW in the promo code. Get that taken care of and go see our guys there at ptgoutdoors.com. How we doing today, my friend?
I'm good. So where Tommy Tuberville had some comments.
Oh, we're getting to it. I got somebody. I didn't know you had said all that, and somebody tagged me in it on a tweet, and I saw it. So I was like, note taken. It's going down. So we're going to talk about that here in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
All right, let's crank this bad boy up. Something that's kind of pissed me off. I'll start out yelling at Cloud. We'll let you finish the show yelling. I'll start out yelling at Cloud to start with. In case you haven't heard, Mississippi College shut down the football program yesterday and changed its name to the university to Mississippi Christian University. One thing I learned yesterday that I was not aware of, I was yesterday years old when I found this out. Did you know that the difference between a college and a university is the amount of degrees that you offer?
I did not.
I do not feel bad that you did not know that now. My good friend Clayton Karcher, who's the smartest guy in the room, let me know that. We got that fact checked. That is correct.
Okay.
So learn that. All right. So here's the deal and I want to explain this because I think this is getting breezed over a little bit in the media. They just think, oh, they're spending a lot of money. We got to shut it down because it costs too much money. I want to tell the truth of what happens. I called a good friend of mine who is a head football coach in Division II, a very good coach in Division II at a big-time program, and I wanted to learn how the finances worked. And we had a long conversation about it. A lot of coaches are perplexed at this. We're going to shut down a program that's been around over 100 years over this, and I want to explain what happens. So Mississippi College went from D3 to D2. Once you go to Division II, you are allowed, and if you're a fully funded, many D2 schools aren't fully funded, you're allowed to provide 36 scholarships to your athletes, okay?
Yep.
All right, let's go on the high end, okay? If you look up Mississippi College on tuition, it will tell you around $21,000 a year for tuition. Now, a full scholarship will be room and board and all that. Let's just call it 30 or 40, whatever it is, $1,000 a year. And I've said this on the show before, just because you're on scholarship, that doesn't mean you get to go to school there for free. That means the athletic department pays, and I know it sounds like you're playing a big shell game, but you have to pay for those scholarships out of the budget. It goes to the university. So that's an expense on the athletic department. But this is how D2 survive, okay? D2 survive because of the 36 scholarships. They may have 120 players on the team, okay? So let's call it, just for even numbers, let's call it 120. That means that 84 players on that team, they're getting 84 full funded that are paying the school to go to school there. So in actuality, a lot of these Division II, not a lot, all of the Division II schools pay for themselves through walk-on tuition. That's how Division IIs are around. That's how they self-support. Actually, they make money for the university by the walk-on programs. They make money for the university. And so when you do the math here, the math don't math. And so then I said, okay, well, help me out here. Well, let's talk about operating budget with salaries and all that stuff. So when you're looking at all in, Mississippi College is probably all in between $1.7 and $2 million, all in.
Okay.
They're getting more money than that through walk-on tuition. And so there is this disconnect, okay? And this is really bad leadership in my opinion. I know you got your own opinion. I have mine. This is really bad disconnect. This is what happens when you put academic people in charge of leadership that don't understand athletics. Because this president is under the assumption that all of those walk-ons that are going to school at Mississippi College, all of those walk-ons are going to stay and go to school at Mississippi College. They're not going to leave. And so they're thinking that all we're cutting is the 36 scholarships. They don't understand that when they woke up, they're probably a little surprised this morning when they woke up and they saw 80 kids in the portal this morning. Probably a little surprised. They're like, oh my gosh, that means that 44 people that pay full tuition to go to school here aren't going to go to school here anymore. Yep. They don't realize that when they woke up this morning, they fucked up. They don't realize that. And that pisses me off. You took a college program that's been around for over 100 years and you threw this shit in a trash can over $1.7 to $2 million.
Yeah.
The same, by the way, while we're talking about this, probably the same cost as half the quarterbacks in FBS are making. Okay, so over the cost of one player, an entire program is getting shut down. This isn't a $60-100 million budgeted program. We're talking about between $1.7 and $2 million total is thrown in the fucking trash because somebody doesn't understand how it works. And that pisses me off that you got, and this is not, it's not just as simple, and this is the other thing. It's a budget line item to them. They get there and go, okay, how can we make this work? Oh, okay, look, the budget looks right. No, those people that are paying for your program and actually making money for your university are no longer going to be there. And that's bullshit. That's complete and utter bullshit because you don't understand how it works. And you're getting where we're talking about academic people not understanding athletics. And you can't have proper leadership doing that. And it's not a budget line item. There are players whose lives are going to be affected. There was 105 returning players. Their entire life is going to be affected, maybe in a positive, maybe in a negative. We don't know. You got coaches and families' livelihoods that are changed.
Yeah, of course.
Because somebody doesn't understand how a fucking budget works at a Division II university. And that pisses me off. And I will say this, should be ashamed. And before anybody goes, and I'll tell you this, when you do a little bit more digging on it, because I did today. I was so pissed. I did digging. When you do a little bit more digging on it, do you know why they're in the position they are right now? Because they decided to do some kind of academic scholarship thing with it, and they've lost a shit ton of money out of it. And so they're trying to find places to make that money back up. Well, I got newsflash for you. You're not making it up. You're actually going to put yourself further in the hole for doing it. So congratulations for fucking up 105 players' lives and coaches' lives and ruining a program that's been around for over 100 years. So you think when you go to the board meeting that, look at me, I saved us money. It looks really fucking good on the budget until next year's budget rolls around and you're fucking underwater. Congratulations. You probably just fucked the whole university, but congratulations. I'm sure the boosters will like that.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Mississippi College. I have no knowledge about that institution whatsoever. I have no idea whether they have boosters. I don't know what kind of attendance they get at games, what kind of interest they have. I don't know. I will say that this is not about football. There's a population cliff that is coming in the next couple of years. I don't think it's going to impact SEC schools, but I think it's going to be devastating for small schools like those. So I can't comment on it. I don't know. I know nothing about the inner workings of that place at all. I'm not sure. I know one person, I think, who went to school there. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know anything about it at all.
It's just, it's absolutely, it's not even hard. Here's where I get frustrated is it's not that hard to understand how this works. It's really not. And the fact that not only do they not understand it, they went and cut a program. If you have 36 players that you are paying for and you're having a program that you have another, they're 120. So what would that be? That'd be 84 people. I'm paying for 36, but I have 84 people that I'm bringing in that's paying you full.
Right.
That means we're making you money. This is not hard.
But you are right what you said about typically academic people, not all, it's too broad of a brush to say all, but typically they don't, certainly at that level where they're almost not, I mean, if you're the chancellor at an SEC school, you sort of have to understand athletics. You have no choice. A lot of times and again, I couldn't name the president or chancellor at Mississippi College if my life depended on it. I wouldn't even know where to start. But typically those kinds of people don't know, they don't really understand athletics, nor do they really care about athletics at all.
Blake Thompson.
Yeah, I have no. Blake could walk in the room right now and I wouldn't have any clue who Blake Thompson was.
Yeah, so
I would worry about him with you as worked up as you are. I would worry about Blake's safety, but
just the fucking stupidity. So he's been the president since 2018. Okay, You made the move from Division III to Division II. You don't think there's a study? You probably paid money for that. You don't think people did a study of the cost analysis of moving from Division III to Division II? Just made the move.
Yeah. I mean, if you're asking me if I'm surprised that people make bad decisions, no. I mean, I say this all the time. Just because someone has a title doesn't mean they're smart.
It's fucking terrible. And I feel terrible for people who had their freaking lives changed because somebody's a fucking idiot. I mean, it's not their fault. Like, look, I screw up enough, okay? I screw up enough. I don't need some other idiot messing my life up because they're not intelligent enough to freaking look at a freaking line item and tell me how it works. It's terrible. All right, now I'm going to get me and you both fired up on this one. I'm going to let you start on this one. We'll change gears on this. I did not know we were talking about this today until I looked on Twitter and somebody tagged me in it, and you responded to it. You said you didn't know what we were talking about on McCready Siskey, but you had thoughts. And as soon as you said that, I was like, hell yeah. When Scoops has thoughts, it goes on the paper. So Tommy Tuberville,
yes,
was speaking at a Birmingham quarterback club or something meeting yesterday. Tommy Tuberville, one of my favorites, if you've ever watched this show, one of my all-time favorite coaches, wants to penalize athletes under a new law. And Michael Casagrande wrote the article.
He did.
Wants to penalize athletes under a new law that basically would penalize athletes if they break the contract and leave. So I will go ahead, turn the floor over, and see if we can get Ragey Neal cranked up, because I think we're going to get Ragey Neal today. I'm like 75-25. We get Ragey Neal at some point in time for the show's over today.
All right, so Tommy Tuberville, for those who don't know, former SEC coach at Ole Miss, at Auburn. I covered Tuberville for 6 seasons as a beat writer, covering Auburn. Covered him his first 6 seasons at Auburn. No, I covered him for 5 seasons as a beat writer at Auburn. And then I covered him several more years after that as a columnist before I was let go from my radio gig in Mobile. Although I'm still a columnist. One of my pet peeves when people are like, you got ran out of Alabama. I'm like, no, I got ran off the radio in Alabama. I didn't get run out of Alabama. I left on my own accord. I did not get fired at the newspaper. I didn't at all. He says he's now a U.S. Senator, Republican from Alabama. He says, I'm not against players making money, but we got to have some kind of penalty for players breaking contracts. You know, when you're a U.S. Senator, your grammar should be better than that. When you're a United States Senator,
a football coach, though.
I don't care. When you're a United States Senator, you should have better grammar than that.
So you're saying I can't run for U.S. Senator?
Do you want to run for U.S. Senator?
I would love to.
Okay.
I would love to.
If you do, I will tell you that, hey, we need to work on, let's work on.
We would sit down.
Let's sit down. Let's work on some Senate structure. Let's get some things down.
I would feel sorry for you in that case.
So it's got to go both ways. So we'll continue to look at it once we get a new administration in. I'm going to get a couple of people on the Democratic side. So he's asked, I assume by Michael Casagrande, what kind of penalties are you suggesting? He says, well, going back, there's going to have to be some exceptions. But my thoughts are, you sign a contract on NIL. I mean, you can't just up and break it. I mean, you want to sign a year, 2-year, 3-year, you got a 3-year contract. If you break it, there's got to be some kind of penalty. We'll have to go through all the rules and regulations when it comes to the Commerce Committee on this. All right, I'm not even going to touch the Commerce Committee aspect of this. Like, you guys are nowhere close to getting this thing into any kind of law. So stop. That being said, this is Tommy Tuberville talking about breaking contracts. This is Tommy Tuberville who did the whole Pine Box thing, left Ole Miss for Auburn, left Texas Tech for Cincinnati with players at the dinner table, recruits at the dinner table. He just got up and left. He has no authority, moral, legal, or otherwise, to talk about breaking contracts. None. I mean, no offense, but you don't. He says the Senate committee is chaired by Ted Cruz, Republican out of Texas. He says, we can do it. We can do it the right way. Players can make money we can just disperse, the revenue a little better to all athletes, not just a few. And then we can try to give the opportunity for schools to build programs like we used to. Not just haphazardly every year going out and buying a new player, new football team every year. I don't mind players. If you got a 1-year contract, that's fine. But we've got to do something with kids in the transfer portal. I'm looking for where he took the shot at Indiana.
It's at the bottom. I read
All
it.
right.
I thought that's where you were going.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Because I knew you weren't going to leave that one out.
Yeah. All right. So it takes a different mentality coaching because you just don't build a team. You pretty much buy a team now. And that was a little bit forbidden. God, I don't even know how he says this with a straight face when I was in coaching, but now it's legal.
Scoops.
Look at Indiana, he says. They went out and bought them a football team. And look where they're at. Tommy, you bought a football team. I mean, you specifically had other people buy it for you, but you bought a football team. I mean, Carnell Williams didn't come for free. Ronnie Brown, Jason Campbell, they didn't all come for free. I mean, let's stop that. Stop. Look at Indiana's roster. That's not a bought football team. He left James Madison. You should know this. Although, hell, your last few years in coaching, maybe you wouldn't know what a football team looked like. Those Cincinnati teams at the end, woof. But, I mean, are we being serious here? I mean, he brought some guys from James Madison. I mean, we're accusing Curt Cignetti. We're saying, hey, you're 10-0 at Indiana, and you just bought him. The only reason you did it is because you bought him. It has nothing to do with any culture that you built. Has nothing to do with maybe you had a favorable schedule and you took advantage of it. It has nothing to do with maybe you have some real momentum going. It has nothing to do with anything like that. No, you just bought a team. Just that's an insult.
It really is.
That's an insult from a guy who bought teams. In an era when Auburn was really good at buying teams. And so were a lot of people. I'm not casting stones. I'm just keeping it real. Those kids didn't all line up to go to Auburn because, oh, my God, this is a fantastic play. No.
I thought they went there because
paid.
Of Tumor's Corner.
Everybody got paid. People are getting paid now. It's part of it. And in a world where the only reason Indiana is good is because they bought a team, so what? You're allowed to buy a team now. I mean, good for Indiana if that's what they did. It's an insult, but good for Indiana if they just went out and bought a team. I mean,
but why? I'll kid aside. I wonder
why
we're
picking on it. Yeah. Why's the shot at Indiana?
How many?
You know what
how
it
many
is?
teams could you come up with before you said Indiana?
I mean, a bunch. Like, I don't think Indiana. No one's ever gone. I tell you what, man, that Indiana team is one talented. They are loaded with NFL dudes. No, they're kind of like a culture team. That's why everybody's going. They're going to get mauled Saturday. Everybody's going, they're going to get killed on Saturday because they're going to actually play a team that's better than them. I'm now really cheering for Indiana Saturday.
Oh, yeah. I was anyway, but
I mean, I didn't care. But, like.
My guys. Of all teams.
He signed 31 transfers. 14 came from his previous school, which I don't know, Tommy. I'm not as smart as you, but maybe that's a hint. Maybe that's a hint that Curt Cignetti is good at building culture. Good enough that 14 dudes left where they were to go with him to the new place. Because if they all hated his guts, they wouldn't have gone. I do know enough about football players to know that. They're not going to pick up and go from a school to another school if they hated the coaches. They're just not. And if they were good enough to get an offer at a Big Ten school like Indiana, they probably were good enough to get an offer somewhere else. 14 of the 31 came with him from James Madison, where they won a lot.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing is like, for me, and I've said this, it was kind of funny that it was coming from Tuberville. He needed a hand raised guy to say, hey, the first part of what you're saying I'm cool with, but just stop talking. He kind of started losing me at the end. Look, is this going to get fixed in Congress? No, it's not. So he's I don't know if he's just talking to talk. I have no problem. I do think, but it has to be collectively bargained. I have no problem with a penalty. And that's the thing. The argument every time I talk about the players need to sit out a year, every single time I talk about that, there's somebody that wants to say, well, the coaches, they can pick up and leave anytime they want to. And I say, yes. And when they do, there is a financial penalty that gets paid back to the school. Okay. I do agree that there needs to be a financial, if they're getting paid, this is part of the break off though. This is a bigger picture than just this. I have no problem with what he's saying at the beginning, but it's much bigger than that. You can't just simply say, hey, we're going to put contracts on players. Like, Tommy, like, it's so out of touch. Now we get into the employee discussion. Like, that's like saying, hey, Neal, I want to grow hair. There's a lot. Hey, probably some fucking things we can do about it. We can go to fucking Turkey. It's a big fucking picture.
Where in Turkey?
I don't know. I see shit all the time on social media.
Oh, really? Go to Turkey?
You can go to Turkey and they'll do a cheap hair transplant thing for you.
Hey, Siri, could you give me driving directions to Turkey?
Would you want hair?
Would I want hair?
Want a head full of hair?
10 years ago, absolutely. 30 years ago, I'd have killed for it.
I shave my head ever since. I mean, I could grow hair to where I'd look like a normal person, but I don't.
Yeah, I think
I
think if you ultimately offered me a head full of hair,
I like to shave.
I would grow it.
Maybe Mama just like 3-time world champ. Maybe Mama just likes it bald. You know what I mean?
I'm not going there.
Diddy, pause. Look,
you're welcome, Aaron.
Yeah,
I mean,
she's such a lucky lady. All right, all kidding aside, is like I'm okay with the penalties of but it's not as simple as doing
only
that.
$4,000 to get it done in Turkey.
Yeah, it's like
6 months. You'll have a full head of hair.
It's not that's why everybody goes.
Really?
Yeah, they flight and everything.
What do they do?
They do a hair transplant. Dude, this is a legit thing now. It's all over social media. I'll send you clips when I see them. It's all over social media. People, you fly to Turkey, they pick you up, they put you in a nice little, a nice hotel. You go and do the procedure, then you fly home. It's like $4,000. We should get that sponsored, and that should have been your punishment. I guarantee you, we could have got that sponsored, and that could have been
a hair transplant from where?
From Turkey at a doctor's office.
No, I know that. Where do they transplant the hair from?
Fuck, I don't know. I just work here. I mean, I'm not a hair transplant specialist. Hell, I don't know. It works. It's legit. We should have got that. That would have been a great.
They take donor hairs from the back of your head and move it to the bald spots.
Okay, sounds great. I know it works. I see it all the time. All Turkey. See it all over. It's all over social media. All traps at a beaver. But anyway, but here's the whole point though, is what bothers me is it's not that fucking simple. You can't just say you're going to penalize, make a broken contract that doesn't fix anything. So that just opens up Pandora's box further, which is why we're in the position that we're in right now. If you go, okay, we're going to get penalized. Now we got to go down the employment deal. And then you don't want to do that. We're already having cuts.
By the way, thank you earlier in the show. If I can find it. It was a lot earlier. I'm looking for it. Here, Webb said super chat. Webb, thank you. It says, Tyler, could you story time about a coach going nuts in the locker room? What are you hearing about Trey Harris? I think the team, I guess he's referring to Ole Miss, is gelling at the right time and might run the table. Thoughts?
Story time. I mean, coaches go nuts in the locker room all the time. What was the other question?
About Trey Harris. I mean,
I think Trey Harris is playing.
Lane says he's playing. We'll see. I'm at the point with Ole Miss and the injury thing and I don't mean this in a condescending way. It's just that he very clearly doesn't like the injury reports. It's fine. We'll see on Saturday. I mean,
know how you saw a bunch of questionables and all that stuff?
Yeah.
I think you're going to see two. I think if I know Lane right, Lane's going to put the people who are out.
Yeah.
And then literally he's going to list everyone else that's everybody is probable. That's my prediction for the injury report.
I mean, it'd be funny.
No, I mean, I'm being dead serious.
And it's funny,
that'd be very.
But what I've gotten around, I don't even pay attention to it.
Yeah,
I don't even pay attention to the one on Saturday morning. They'll play or they won't.
Yeah. All right. Biff Poggi, fired from Charlotte yesterday. I think right after the show, he got let go at Charlotte. I know Biff a little bit. Biff is actually really good friends with Coach Saban.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, they were in some business adventures together, I believe, at some point in time. But known Biff for a long time. He was a coach in the DMV. Had a bunch of recruits and all that stuff. So I've known Biff for a long time. Biff's a good dude. It's just the G5 thing, man. I mean, it's a tough world these days in G5 level. So I think there's what you're seeing in the G5 level. That's why there's now 9 openings in the G5 and 0 in the P5 or P4. I saw this. So I'm a big fan of the Coach JB show. I watch the Coach JB show. You probably don't because you're actually podcasting on its own. Coach JB show, that is Coach Jason Brown, who is the coach at Indy on Netflix on Independence, and he's got a show that he does. Gets up early, so his time. He's on the West Coast, but he does like 3-hour show, like 8 to 11 or something.
Okay.
I try to catch it a couple days during the week, but he's very intelligent, very smart football coach, and but he's got a big personality, right? Which is kind of funny. It's entertaining. I like his show. So I usually, when I catch a show, if I don't catch it in the morning, I'll try to, if I'm doing some work late at night, I'll put it on the background, whatever. So I go last night to get on YouTube. And when you get on YouTube and if you're subscribed to the channel, I'm subscribed, there's a red button, like a red dot that shows up if they're live. And I was like, oh, that's weird. It's live late night. That's odd. I clicked on it and I'm watching some SpaceX. I'm watching like I'm like, what in the hell is Coach JB talking about SpaceX for? I'm confused. And then, so this morning, I didn't think anything of it or whatever. This morning, I go back and I go to listen to today's show. And I'm like, it's back. I look and I'm like, I'm on the wrong channel. I can't figure out what's going on. So then I get on there. They got hacked.
Oh, wow.
They got hacked. And he showed a video. I don't know, but they're trying to extort him for like $20,000 to get his login information
really?
back. Yeah, he got hacked on his YouTube channel. So his whole show's on YouTube. I'm sure they do podcasts and other versions, but they got hacked on YouTube. And I sent him a message. Got an open invite anytime he wants to come on the show. He's entertaining. But he chatted back. I said, he's like, yeah, they got me, bro. And I was like, yeah. I was like, dude. Because he is very, he lives in California, but he's very, very right-winged. And I said, brother, YouTube is full of weird, I don't want to say it because we'll get hacked, full of liberal, weird people. And I said, they're going to make it probably very difficult for you to
Tyler
get
says
back.
He's not going to say it. Then 2 seconds later, he says it.
Yeah, I didn't call him what I wanted to call him, though. That was a clean version. But yeah, I mean, they're probably gonna make it hard on him, but I feel bad. I mean, he's got a good product and how did they not know? Like they should have let him back on. Like, so if anybody knows anybody at YouTube, can we get our guy, Coach JB back up and running? Let's go, YouTube. I mean, it's not like, we know who Coach JB is. Can we get him back up?
That's the frustrating part is you would think someone would see it and go, come on, this isn't.
Yeah, we know that SpaceX is not the Coach JB show. It literally says SpaceX and they're showing all of SpaceX videos and stuff. Like, let's go. We know who the Coach JB show is with Big Schmitty. Can we get them back up, please, on YouTube? That'd be great.
Are they still down?
Yes, they've been down for almost 24 hours.
So it's still SpaceX right now.
Yeah, if you Google the coach or you search the Coach JB show, you'll get a thing that says SpaceX. He's got 55,000 subscribers too, so it's not like there's nobody. I mean, like, let's go YouTube. Let's go YouTube. Do your job. As my man Coach JB says, make it make sense. Get him back up. All right.
Tyler, you've had Wendy's Nugs dipped in sauce? I wonder, Coach JB probably right now wishes he had some.
Coach JB would love some Nugs dipped in sauce right now. But he doesn't want them dipped in sauce. You know what he wants them as?
Covered in sauce.
He wants them covered in sauce.
Well, I tell you what, I can help him because Wendy's new saucy nugs take the crispy and spicy nugs you love and turn them up to 11. Choose between flavors like buffalo, honey barbecue, garlic parm, Or if you're a real heat seeker, try spicy ghost pepper. Only on Wendy's signature spicy nugs. I dare you. That's 7 delicious ways to try the nugs you already love. Pick a flavor, grab some extra napkins, and prepare to nug like you've never nugged before. For a whole new way to nug, it's got to be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's. And listen, if you're looking for a way to wash those down, something to go with your Wendy's saucy nugs, can I suggest Parish Brewing Company? Located right in the heart of Cajun country in Broussard, Louisiana, their simple goal is to make awesome craft brewed beer. And they do it. Speaking of Ghost, you got Ghost in the Machine. It's a double IPA brewed with obscene quantities of hand-selected Citra hops from their favorite farm right there in Washington State. You can expect pungent grapefruit aromas and flavors, tropical fruit, less harsh bitterness than most double IPAs. They got the Doctor. It's your new go-to IPA. Highly crushable juice bomb, 6% ABV. It's fantastic. If you're looking for beer, you see the word Parish Brewing Company, make sure you grab some.
Scoops, you know what? In case Coach JB ever comes as a great sip and he's driving through, you know what he should do?
He probably should stop at Kia Meridian.
He should stop by Kia Meridian. Are you looking for an unbeatable deal? Kia of Meridian has you covered with rates as low as 1.9% on new rides. Whether it's the ever-popular Telluride, the Sorrento, the Sportage, or the K5, we've got something for everyone. Plus, there's a huge selection of new and used vehicles, and here's the best part, Scoops. With any new or used vehicle purchase, you know what you get to do?
Spin the wheel!
Spin the wheel! And get a chance to win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. Don't wait. Come by Kia of Meridian or call area code 601-483-6444 and drive away a winner today. Kia of Meridian, your road, your ride, your deal.
Spin the wheel.
Spin the wheel. All right, Scoops.
Yep.
We're going to do a little. We went over most of the games yesterday. We went over all the games yesterday. Talking with AJ, but I didn't update the standings yesterday. Neal, you went 7-4 on the Make It Rain picks on Thursday. You got to hit your money line as well with Air Force just dismantling Oregon State.
Air Force, baby.
So you got plus 3.3 units. Okay, I went 5-6. I lost one. You cut it again. So you are 60-65 at minus 2.03. I'm now 62-63. I have shit the bed the last 3 weeks at plus 0.35. The lead has been cut to 2.38 units.
Wow.
From 18 units down to only 2 units down.
That's proxy free, by the way. I've done that.
You made up the ground by yourself. You've had 3. You went 8-3, 8-3, 7-4.
I looked around and I was like,
you can't fade Neal right now.
You can't. Well, it's not even that. It's just I looked around and I was like, I can't keep looking for help. It's like you can't go, hey, I'm in trouble. Give me a bailout. Hey, let me call somebody and get them to come solve my problems. I'm going to have to try to solve these damn problems myself. And so I did. I rolled up my sleeves and I just said, I'm going to do the best I can do. That's all I can do. Do your best and forget the rest.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to do right now. I'm not going to say I'm still bleeding. I'm under 500. I'm not going to sit here and go, we made it. We didn't, but we're trying. And it's just one day, one pick, one day at a time. Just 1 week at a time, 1 day at a time, one pick at a time. Just try to grind your way out of the giant hole.
If I'm not mistaken, one thing that you can credit your comeback to is you were 13-2 against the spread in the NFL the last 3 weeks. 13-2 against the spread.
Grind's right. I went outsourced. I went looking for government funding. I was like, hey, I created this mess. Can you just send me some money for free? It turns out, nope.
Bottom line is I got to get my head out of my ass because Scoops is kicking it the last 3 weeks. So no diddy. All right. Little NFL news from last night. The Texans dismantled the Cowboys 34-10. We just continue down this road with the Cowboys. It's over. It's been over. Cowboys fans are, they're so old. Everybody's like, what's wrong with the Cowboys? Well, they got old running backs. They got CeeDee Lamb with no help. And I love my man, Jalen Tolbert. Love him to death. But they have no help for CeeDee. They just got dismantled. The quarterback play was terrible. And they can't stop the run, and they got to play the Houston Texans. I have no idea why I didn't pick that game. I picked it last night and won.
I know why I didn't pick it. I was going to pick it. I was like, I'm not going to do the Monday thing. But it was actually the game that I kind of liked the most. The other game that I really liked was the one where it was a 13-point line. I'm like, I just can't lay that.
The lines.
And then you watch that, and you're like, why the hell did I not just lay 13 points?
The Lions set, I think, every freaking record in the history of fantasy football.
By the way, shout out to my guy, Cam Little.
Yeah.
58-yard field goal, I believe, this week.
Yeah, that's
having a big season as a rookie kicker.
If you're a Cowboys fan and somebody said, what can I look forward to as a Cowboys fan? Aubrey, the kicker for the Cowboys.
Oh, he's a stud.
He hit a 64-yard field goal last night.
He's a beast.
And it would have been good from 70.
That's one of the things, man. NFL kickers, these dudes, like you can tell all these like kicking academies and stuff have paid off. There's like so many guys in the NFL that are, except our guy in Cincinnati, who suddenly can't make kicks.
Yeah, Miss, thank you. I appreciate that because that cost me a unit. The Bengals do their magic comeback on Sunday night, and he misses 2 kicks in the fourth quarter after they come back down 21 in the second half to win the game. Either one of them would have won the game probably.
But yeah, Dallas is done.
Yeah,
they're done.
Jet in the chat, in the Cooper Chevrolet chat, says Stroud did not play well. Yeah, he didn't really have to. Like he had some wide open guys he missed. They had a touchdown. They had a long touchdown. The first play, Nico Collins ran a screen. Laramie Tunsil got called with a legal man downfield, which is a bullshit call. But he got called. He was literally like a half a yard past the line. They're supposed to give him a grace yard. It didn't. But they can't stop the run. Joe Mixon went ham. And then Stroud did miss throws. They were still completed because they were that open.
Yeah.
They were still completed because they were that open, but he did misfire some accuracy issues. All right, we talked about a little bit earlier. Jets fired GM Joe Douglas and promoted our good friend Phil Savage for the spot. I will say this: so the Jets and the Cowboys got a lot of things in common, but even the Jets are I think is a worse case than the Cowboys. The GM's not the problem. Talent acquisition has not been the problem with the Jets. Would you agree with that? He's been getting talent.
Yeah, I think their talent's a little old, but yes.
But the guys are still, the quarterback, cool. But Breece Hall's not old. C.J. Mosley's not playing old. Kenyon Williams not playing old. Garrett Wilson's not playing old. They got dudes to play. And, sooner or later, the Jets got to look the Jets in the face, man. It's the organization. I said that from the jump. If this doesn't work with these guys they got, you can't sit here and say, keep pointing the finger. The problem is we're doing something wrong as an organization, period.
Yep.
So they got to figure that out. All right, it's time for Turn the Page Tuesday. We're going to preview this week's games. We're going to start it off with the game we just talked about just a second ago with a little bit. The Indiana Hoosiers, the Fighting Cignettis, fresh off the brand new 8-year, $72 million contract, taking on the team that was purchased, according to Tommy Tuberville, the team that was purchased. That's the team, not Ohio State, that they're playing this week. The team that he said was purchased was the Indiana Hoosiers, not Ohio State. Not Ohio State, that purchased the number 1 safety in college football and arguably the best running back in the portal. Not that team. He's talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. Did you know that?
Yes.
He brought the Indiana Hoosiers, the 14 kids that came from James Madison. Hey, not Caleb Downs, not Quinshon Judkins. He's talking about Indiana. That was the team that was purchased.
Kurt Cignetti wishes he could have bought Caleb Downs.
Holy shit.
Golly. You don't think Kurt Cignetti would like Caleb Downs on his team this week, do you?
Damn, Tubbs. What the fuck are you watching? Seriously.
Just talking out of his ass.
Shocker. I told y'all he picked the right fucking profession. Freaking politician, if I've ever seen one. All right. The Indiana Hoosiers, back to the game. The Indiana Hoosiers are traveling to Columbus, Ohio, to the shoe to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. The Buckeyes are favored by 13.5. Here's the deal. I think Indiana competes. I think this is a game. the key to this game for me is, and it's the key for both sides, I think Indiana has to stop the run, and they have to force Will Howard to beat them. You got to force Will Howard to beat them. That's how you got to do it. And then I think they need to, on defense, they need to find a way to bracket Jeremiah Smith. They got to find a way to bracket him, and then they got to stop the run. If they can do that, they can play. I think they're going to find a way to score enough. This has to be Indiana's path to victory. Has to be a low-scoring game. I'm talking about like 17, 14 points, and find a way to really slow down and get it to a one-possession game in the fourth quarter. Make a kick, make a stop, make a possession, whatever it is. Make a play in the fourth quarter. They got to keep this game dirty, keep this game on the ground, keep Will Howard from keep the running game from getting going, because that's when Will Howard gets going, play action. So I think that's the key to the game in this one.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I haven't seen Indiana much this year. I've followed it, but I haven't really watched. I don't think Ohio State is as good as they've been in recent years. I'm not sure anybody really is.
Yeah, there's a lot of parity.
Yeah, so
theirs is the quarterback position. Will Howard's playing very pedestrian.
So this is a curious game. Like the rankings will come out tonight. There's still games to play. I've had people argue this with me about Indiana. They're like, well, if they go 11-1, I'm like, guys, at 11-1, they're in. I mean, they're in at 11-1, unless the only scenario, and I think we said this yesterday.
Yeah.
Being repetitive.
Sorry.
I apologize. If they just get whacked to the point that everybody watching goes, wait a minute, hold up. That doesn't look right. And I just don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen simply because you're 10-0. These kids believe. You know what I mean? Like they're going to be ready to play. I mean, so is Ohio State, but I don't know, man. I think it's 13.5 is too much, probably, in my opinion. I don't know if I'm going to bet it or not, but I think Indiana, if they can stop the run and force Will Howard to beat them, I think they can do some things in coverage where they can bracket for and then keep them from making explosive plays. That's the whole thing. You've got to make Ohio State drive the field. You can't allow the explosive plays in the passing game. And how do they get explosive plays in the passing game? They run the ball, run up, play action your ass. So I think that's how they slow them down. All right, the Ole Miss Rebels favored by 10.5 on the road against the Fighting Billy Napiers and the Florida Gators, fresh off of their win against LSU on Saturday.
Yeah.
Look, I think if you tell me that Florida wins this game, I tell you that Ole Miss offensively did not execute. That's where I'm at. I think from a defensive side, the matchup, when you look at Ole Miss's defense versus Florida's offense, I think that they can pressure-wise, they're going to be able to – Ole Miss can stop the run, all right? And when they create more third and mediums and third and longs, that's not where Florida wants to live. Florida has a very tough time sustaining drives all the way down the field. They're dependent on explosive plays. But when you get the reason they've depended on explosive plays is they've had time. I don't think they've seen a defensive line like this. They've had issues in protection, particularly at right tackle this year. I think Ole Miss can take advantage of that. So I think the nature of the beast tells me that, look, Ole Miss wants to stop the run, create third and mediums, third and longs enough to where they can get after them in the pass rush.
I'll just go ahead and tell you, I love Ole Miss in this game.
Yeah, I kind of like it. And the other thing is I don't think you're in a position now.
This will be on my Thursday list.
Okay. I also think from the other side of it, Ole Miss needs to be patient and end every drive the same mode. They need to start, in my opinion, Ole Miss, and they've done this, okay? So it's nothing that they need to start. They've been doing it. Look, there just comes a point in time where the running game is really not at the base of your offense. I mean, you throw it in there, it's like, hey, we can still run it every once in a while, but trying to force the run, we're wasting time there, right? So they need to be able to stick it in there, give it when they need to, and then the 4-minute drill, be able to close out games, yes. But being able to end each possession with a kick and do not turn the ball over is more important than establishing the run. If you go 3 and out if you throw an incomplete pass on first down and it's 2nd and 10, don't feel like you got to force the run for a 2-yard gain and have 3rd and 8.
Right.
Okay, just stay with it. End every drive with a kick. I think they'll be fine there. I think the only way Florida wins this game is if Ole Miss plays really bad on offense and turns the ball over. I think that's the only path there because I don't like the matchup for Florida's offense going against Ole Miss's defense.
No, I don't either. I think this one has a chance to get lopsided.
For sure. It's got a more chance of being lopsided than it does to being a close game.
Yes.
All right, Penn State, and I got some national games mixed in with the SEC here. Penn State is on the road. They're 12.5-point favorites on the road at Minnesota. This is going to be on my sheet Thursday.
Okay. You think they're going to row the boat?
I think Minnesota covers at the least.
Oh,
upset watch, sneaky game.
Well, I'll say this.
Sneaky game.
I'll say this. Everyone's doing this angst thing, and I get it. I do. We'll talk about it in a minute. But these things typically, and when I say typically, I mean every year, work themselves out. Somebody's going to lose. All these teams that come out tonight at the top and all the projected stuff, someone's going to lose. They just do. That's the nature of the sport. It's not going to go chalk down the stretch. It's simply not.
Well, you can make a lot of money if you do how it's going to end up, right?
Well, yeah, and if it always went the same way, people would make a lot of money.
Yes.
Those big buildings,
There's a reason.
Those big buildings in Vegas, they keep popping up. I'm like, some bitch. Wonder what's doing that.
Look, I think the physicality. Look, Penn State's no secret on offense. Tyler Warren makes this thing go. And he's a beast. First tight end off the board. If he's not the first tight end off the board, I quit. He is a B44 for Penn State's a beast. Minnesota plays solid defense. They've had these like lapses of struggle, but I think at home, Penn State's got all the pressures on Penn State. It's basically a free shot. You got a free shot with a great team at home. That place will be nuts.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't absolutely shock me to see Minnesota win this game.
Okay, interesting.
All right. Other games of interest nationally. I'll put this down here. BYU at Arizona State.
I know.
Okay, putting this on there.
Sun Devils getting hot.
I'm putting this on there. If Arizona State wins this game and they beat Arizona, they're in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah.
And not one person has mentioned them for a playoff.
I have.
When?
Oh, several times.
Okay. Well, I don't remember. I apologize then. But the only one person besides Neal McCready that has mentioned them, I haven't even thought about.
We could get an Arizona State Colorado Big 12 final.
I think that's what we're looking at.
And I'm going to tell you, if we get that game, that is a really entertaining football game.
Yes. And then I didn't even have this game on here. But again, I'm going to say this about Colorado. Colorado is, and this is what's weird. Let's finish this game first. I'll talk about it. BYU at Arizona State. Okay. Arizona State's a 3-point favorite at home. If they win out, this will be them beating BYU, then beating Arizona, who's Arizona just won their first game. They were on a big skid, which I think they will beat Arizona. They're in a Big 12 championship game. And then we'll talk about Colorado. Colorado, this is very strange to say. Colorado is playing their best team they've played all year this weekend. They are on the road in Kansas City at Arrowhead, but they're on the road playing Kansas. The 4-6 Kansas Jayhawks is probably the best team that they've played up to this point.
Oh, wow.
Now, check this out. Kansas has lost 6 games, 5 of them by 1 score or less.
Yeah.
Less than 1 score. So they just having a tough time. They're actually a decent team. They can't find a ways to win games they need to win. Kansas did go on the road and beat BYU this past week. Mm-hmm. They got a lot of momentum. They got that going for them. This will be their Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. So Colorado wins this week. They deserve it to get there, but it's the best team that they've played at 4-6. That sounds weird. They shouldn't be a 4-6 team. But it's definitely the best team that Colorado has played all year long.
God says Coach Prime put the Joker out of business.
Not so fast, my friend.
Okay. Oh, good.
So fast.
Might have an appearance on Thursday.
Not so fast, my friend.
Rock, chalk, Jayhawk.
Not so fast, my friend. All right. Kentucky's at Texas. Texas is a 20.5-point favorite.
Kentucky.
I'm tempted on this game.
Really?
Yeah, to take Texas.
Okay, I was going to say Kentucky
even though I don't quit. Yeah, even though I don't like big numbers. Call me crazy.
Okay.
I think if I'm at Texas and my last name's Sarkisian, I start looking down the road a little bit and I go, you know what? If it comes up to a resume discussion, I may want to start making some of these wins look like real wins. And so if you get a chance to really put it on somebody,
Mm-hmm.
because look now in the 14 playoff, people had to do that, right?
Yeah. Well, no, you would, if you're Texas, you would love if it comes down to Texas versus Ole Miss, right? When Ole Miss goes, we beat Georgia, they beat you. If you're Texas, you want to go, you lost to Kentucky and we beat them by 37.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you do want that. I don't think that would matter.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of I'm interested in that one. All right, Missouri at Mississippi State. Missouri's favored by 8. If I find out anything on Brady Cook, I'm telling you on this one. If Brady Cook's not playing, if Drew Pine plays quarterback, if something happens and
I believe Brady will play.
Yeah, just saying, if he doesn't play, look, Mississippi State is they got a chance. They'll score some points. Now they turn the ball over a little bit too much and all that, and defense is a struggle. But
defense is a struggle.
Yeah, defense is a struggle. For
that is the nicest thing you've ever said about the word struggle. Mississippi State can't.
I love my guys there.
They can't stop a cold.
I love my guys there. Well, if Drew Pine is the quarterback, they will.
Can Drew go down set hut and hand the ball to someone?
He struggles with that. If Drew Pine's the quarterback, I would take Mississippi State.
Okay.
I won't touch it otherwise. Because I'm also curious. I'm also curious with being out of the playoffs, how does that affect the mindset?
Yeah.
That's curious for me.
Yeah.
All right, the Alabama Crimson Tide are on the road at Oklahoma. Alabama
can't stop a parked car.
Yeah, terrible. Alabama's 14-point favorites on the road at Oklahoma. Look.
I mean, the cheerleaders in Starkville don't even do the defense chant. They don't even.
God, y'all are just brutal.
They don't. You know, they always go, defense. They're not there. There it's just like, we're just waiting.
They're going to beat somebody before it's all said and done.
Well, they're running out of time.
They are, but I'm just telling you. They play hard.
Well, it's either going to be Missouri or Ole Miss.
They play hard, man.
Because we're out of time.
They are fun to watch. Alabama's 14-point favorites at Oklahoma in Norman. Look, I think this number's about right.
Yeah, I think it's about right.
Close to right. Like it's a 14, 17-point game for me.
I think so.
I could see like 31-17, 34-17, 31-14, somewhere in there. So I think the number's about right. I think Alabama's playing really well right now. I think one thing that they have figured out is they're playing and they didn't have to the other day, but they're starting to, okay, Milroe, you don't have to be a pocket passer. You can be the quarterback we all know you are. And look, they're good. And they got talent. And when they can do that, defense is playing solid. We'll be interested to see time possession in this game. That would be, if Alabama covers, I'll tell you that they outgain them in time possession. They wear them down. All right, sneaky game of the week, Scoops. Sneaky game of the week, Scoops.
Mike Elko already admitted today that all of their focus is on Texas. It was a Freudian slip, but yes. He was asked about, hey, November 30th, Texas, is it hard to stay focused on Auburn with Texas? And he gave this big, long thing about, you know, we've got to be one thing at a time. And he goes, all our focus is on Texas. I mean, Auburn.
No, he didn't.
I swear.
I'll have to watch that. I didn't see that. All right, Texas A&M is favored by 2.5 traveling to the Plains. Well, Vegas definitely thinks it's an option. This is kind of one of these lines that makes you think that Vegas knows something. They're begging you to take Texas A&M here.
And you know me.
This is rat line all over it.
I mean, I love an Auburn loss as much as anybody, but I kind of think Auburn's winning this game. I kind of like the Tigers here. I mean, I don't know why, because they haven't done anything all season to indicate that they're ready to win a game like this, but it just feels like a Hugh Freeze special. And he's kind of due a Hugh Freeze special. They've played, in fairness to them. In fairness to them, if I'm actually being nice to you, Auburn. If you ran their little SP plus thing, their record's far better than what their record is. Now, your record is what your record is, and they have found ways to lose games.
I wonder how.
But if you look at them metrically, they're better than this. And I just got a funny feeling about this one. Because, look, if you're Texas A&M, you do know what's coming. It's been circled for a long time.
Shit.
Literally years.
A decade?
People have talked about next Saturday for so long. It's in the you're just not going to be laser focused on what's Auburn's record. I'm trying to be serious. I'm being serious for a minute. Let's see. I got it. I got it.
Auburn probably knows.
Auburn is 1-5 in the league, 4-6 overall. 4-6, 1-5. It's hard to tell a bunch of kids, hey, listen, this team that's 1-5, they've won one game. They beat Kentucky. Like everybody except Ole Miss has beaten Kentucky. They can beat you. You cannot focus on Texas right now. I mean, if you told me Texas A&M gets beat by Auburn and then comes back and wallops Texas, I completely buy it. Because that's just sort of college football today.
Yeah. Here's my thing, though, man. Like, I can't get over Peyton Thorne playing quarterback. I'm sorry. I just can't. Like, the Auburn defense has to win this game. Like, Auburn, how about this? If Auburn scores a defensive or special teams touchdown, they win the game.
Well,
I can't.
A&M's weird at quarterback because sometimes they're really good and sometimes they're
weird
not.
At quarterback. I hate right now, their quarterbacks look like fucking Tom Brady compared to what's going to be on the other sideline this weekend.
Gosh almighty. Hey, look.
I mean, come on, man.
I refuse to make Peyton Thorne the scapegoat for the Auburn season.
I understand. I'm not making him a scapegoat either, but we're talking about winning a game.
I mean, they're the ones that brought him back.
Do you want Peyton Thorne to be your quarterback when you're trying to drive down and make a game-winning drive? Does anybody – am I missing something?
I mean, no.
Okay. I'll just make sure I wasn't missing something. I think Auburn's defense, and they're more than capable. I think this is a low-scoring game. This is probably going to be on my sheet, and it'll probably be the under. I think this is a very low-scoring game, and that's Auburn's path. But I think Auburn's going to have to do something on defense, and they can't turn the ball over. Now he's done to Peyton Thorne's credit. He has done a better job of taking care of the ball lately.
Yeah,
but I just can't get it the other out of my head. When you make the right decision and you leave the ball 25 feet off target, as a college quarterback, I don't understand that. So I'm having a tough time with that. So it is what it is. All right, we got a few minutes. Do you know what tonight is, Scoops?
Oxford Tupelo soccer.
Oh, good one.
Big game.
Where?
Here.
Let's go, Scoops.
Let's go. They play 3 games this week. I'm only going to get to go to 1, but I'm going to this one.
I love it. All right, Scoops. Tonight is also the college football playoff rankings.
There's that too.
Rankings release.
There's that too. You'll love this. The normally this is Oxford Tupelo. It's a funny story. All the kids know each other because most of them play club together, and normally they kind of go at each other with some Instagram stuff like other teams because they are all in the same group chats. They agreed that this week, this particular game, nobody's because there's a lot of compromising information that would be available. They all agreed to a complete détente.
Okay.
Going into this game. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, they're doing the coaching thing. When your buddy's coaching on the other side, you talk to him all the time, then all of a sudden you can't talk to him that week.
Well, it's just, hey, no, we're not going to put anything out on like Instagram or something that's bad. We're just, we're not going to take any no shots. Yeah. Just everybody's just going to be nice.
It's nice.
Which tells you that whatever's in that group chat's pretty rough.
All right, there's gonna be a release tonight, and I will say my piece, and then I will cut loose my man Scoops here. Nothing has changed for me. I think there are 4 Big Ten teams that are getting in the playoff. I do think that as of today, on November the 19th, 3:06.
I agree.
I think there are 4 Big Ten teams.
Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State, Indiana.
That is correct.
Agreed.
Those 4 are in.
Agreed.
I think there is going to be 1 Big 12 spot.
Yes, one and only one.
So pick your team: Arizona State, Colorado. I guess technically it could be BYU or it could be Iowa State. I think it's the other team.
Whoever wins that game.
Whoever wins the championship's in.
Yep.
That's their one spot.
Agreed.
I think there is one ACC spot.
I do too. I think the reason that they've been vague about this championship game thing is because it's their way of going, look, we might treat the Big 12 championship, Big 10 championship game and SEC championship game differently than we'll treat the other ones.
Correct.
If you want to get in from the ACC or the Big 12, you need to have a championship trophy in your grasp.
I think there is going to be one G5 spot. Shocker. I'm going to go on, and I'm going to say this again for the 83rd time. I think it's going to be, it needs to be Tulane. Boise's not the best team in G5.
Okay.
I think Notre Dame is going to get in, minus a slip-up, which, hey, just telling you.
Army or USC?
And
who has the best shot?
I think USC.
Right.
Because USC has started playing the kid. You know, the people. I did not know this until I watched last week. Do you know who they benched Miller Moss for? The quarterback that was at UNLV last year.
Oh, really?
That left, and he's got some shit to him.
Okay.
They beat Nebraska last week by 8. They beat them 28-20, I think. But they're okay. Like, you know, and you can, how you do get after Notre Dame's ass is throwing it on them. It's tough to run the ball on them, so they can. That will be, and it's at SC, so that'll be interesting there. But anyway, Notre Dame's in right now. So that leaves 4 spots for the SEC. And right now, I started like predicting out things today. Like I got asked about conference champions and all that stuff. And somebody brought up Greg McElroy, what he said. And Greg, I want to defend Greg here. Greg had done a post last week by saying, hey, Boise is going to end up, if they went out, could end up getting a bye because they would be one of the 4 highest ranked conference champions. Because he was he was saying that BYU wasn't going to win it, which he's probably right. So with the information that Greg had, he's not wrong. With that being said, the interesting thing for me with the college football playoff before we get to the SEC will be what do they do? What do they do if you see Boise drop a spot, or watch Arizona State and Colorado start jumping up because they want to be able to pass up Boise. The committee is going to want to pass up Boise and say, oh, well, they were ranked higher than you. They want to pass up Boise for that bye for the Big 12. So I think that's going to happen eventually.
Okay.
All right, so let's go to the 4 SEC spots, okay? Assuming everything works out the way there's no major upsets, okay? And that would require a double-digit upset, okay, when I say major upsets. Okay, I think your 3 teams that are in for sure is Alabama, Georgia, and Ole Miss.
I agree.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
For them not to get in, they would have to, in my opinion, lose a game. Not just lose a game that they were double-digit favorites in.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
So that's why I got those 3 in. Now,
I mean, you're talking about Alabama losing to either Oklahoma or Auburn. You're talking about Ole Miss losing to Florida. And you're talking about Georgia losing to Georgia Tech.
Correct.
Because Georgia's not obviously losing to UMass.
I would not think so. How about UMass? Fire their freaking coach after they play half of a damn SEC. They played a harder SEC schedule than damn Texas.
It's true. They did. That's a good point. Texas is the one that if I'm Texas and I lose to Texas A&M, I'm worried.
Correct. That's why I said on the deal this week. All right, so it comes down. Here's the deal. So it's going to come down to Texas A&M, and Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, if Texas is a 10-2 team, I think they are out.
I do too, because Tennessee has a better win at 10-2.
I think if Texas runs the table, they go to the SEC championship game. They're in.
Yes.
Okay.
And should be.
Then that leaves Tennessee on the outside looking in. Okay. Now, with that being said, I said it and I'll say it again. I think Tennessee, if I was on the committee, which I'm not, I think Tennessee showed me enough on Saturday. That was the best game they played, in my opinion, in a losing effort. I thought they looked really good, minus the.
They are really good.
Yeah, but I think they looked.
Yeah.
Resume-wise, they look better. Like, I think the eyeball test, I think they pass up some teams for me. So that's when you turn into, okay, does Indiana get beat by a lot? Does Penn State lose this weekend? Does Penn State get it? Then you start, if you're a Tennessee fan, which I think it's going to happen, okay, you got to hope for a 5th bid in the event that Texas runs the table, in my opinion. Or you got to hope that if it's a 10-2 thing, I think Tennessee's in. So Those are the two teams, Texas and Tennessee. Now, if Texas A&M wins, here's the other interesting one. Let's say Texas A&M runs the table. They beat Auburn and they beat Texas. Okay? They're in. They're in.
Yeah. At 10-2.
And even if they lose an SEC championship game, because they would go to the SEC championship game against
Right.
Alabama at that point in time. So that leaves all of a sudden now you added a sixth team to it. Now you got Tennessee and Texas looking outside in.
Yeah.
So that's where it's going to be interesting for me. So again, I think this all works itself out. How could this work itself out? I think Penn State losing another game, Penn State losing to Minnesota could be one.
Sure.
I think obviously any Notre Dame loss,
of course,
I think that will get you a fifth team in.
Those are your two ways.
Yeah, I think that gets you a fifth team in.
Right.
In my opinion.
Here's my little thing, and I'm not going to call anybody out because
I'm going to tee you up.
I care for these people. I like the people. I like one of the people. One of the persons I don't really. But
I like you. I don't know who you are, but I like you. Just because Neal doesn't.
There are people that are. You wouldn't.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. I take it all back.
There are people that are doing this thing about Ole Miss getting a lack of respect based off the AP poll. It's either intentionally disingenuous or you're being paranoid.
Beyond paranoid.
If it's intentionally disingenuous to get clicks, okay. I'm never going to be good at that, so it's always going to bug me. But there is no lack of respect. You're literally 9th in the AP poll. You're going to be 8th or 9th in the CFP poll tonight. You open the season at number 6. Everyone's giving you respect. There is no lack of respect. Frankly, the committee and the sport wants Ole Miss in because they love Kiffin. Kiffin gives eyeballs. Ole Miss gets big TV ratings. They want Ole Miss in the tournament. So assuming you beat Florida and assuming you beat Mississippi State, you're in. Now people go, well, shouldn't the Kentucky loss be painful for them? It should. And you know what it's going to cost them, Tyler?
A home game.
A home game. It's going to cost them a home game because it's a bad loss. And when the people try to act like it wasn't a bad, no, it's a terrible loss. Because assuming a Kentucky loss to Texas, Kentucky is going Ole Miss and 7 in the SEC. It's a big loss, and you lost it at home. Yeah, Tennessee lost at Arkansas. Alabama lost at Vanderbilt. Bad losses. They're not as bad as Kentucky at home. And September counts. It counts. I hear people go, well, that was a long time ago. It was in this season. It counts. I mean, I'm sure South Carolina would love to go right now. Hey, can we get a couple of our games back? Because right now, South Carolina's playing really good football.
Yeah.
And South Carolina's going to wind up, I think, 9-3 and able to go, we had Bama. I mean, you know what I mean? With South Carolina's going, we could have easily been a playoff team.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that. Why? Because the losses at the beginning of the season count too.
They do.
And so that's what I think. But this whole thing about there's a bias against Ole Miss. Where? This year? Last year when everybody thought they weren't going to get into the Access Bowl and they were like, no, the Peach Bowl wants them. They're going to Atlanta. They played in an Access Bowl last year. I was there. I saw it.
I heard that.
I mean, there is no disrespect. I don't understand where this narrative is coming from unless it's just this paranoia. And if it's paranoia, I can't help you. That's something that's a fan thing, and I can't go there. I don't relate to it. I don't see it. I don't understand it. As like I told you, it's almost an out of body experience for me sometimes to go to these games, and I'm at the game and I'm like, I'm like one of like 13 people in the whole building that don't really have an emotion about this. Like me and the
officials.
Yeah, well, allegedly. I was thinking more like some of the people who were there with like catering companies and whatnot. I mean, there is no disrespect. You've gotten mad respect.
Yeah.
But I mean, when people talk about your resume and they talk about, well, you played nobody in the non-cons, true. And the Kentucky loss is bad.
And LSU's loss is getting worse every day.
It gets a little worse, but the South Carolina win gets a lot better. And they went to South Carolina and won by 25 points.
They did.
I mean, it's a big win for them.
Yeah.
And so that kind of negates it. And I think the Georgia win, beating Georgia by 18 points where you dominated Georgia, I think eliminates any chance of getting screwed. I think the Kentucky loss is going to be what puts you in that 9-10 range in the CFP, where they're going to make you go on the road and win a game to get to one of the 4 quarters.
Yeah.
And I think it's more than fair. And so when people do this, they're out to get them thing. No.
Hell, they're probably giving them too much respect.
I mean, look.
You lost to LSU, who's lost 4 games already, and you lost to Kentucky.
In a world,
it could be worse.
In a world,
it could be worse.
In a world where you didn't get in, it would be the committee going, we just can't kind of get over that Kentucky thing. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well, they already have you ranked in the playoff.
I think you've already seen the metrics on it.
They're not going to punish you for winning 2 games, for on the streak that they're on. But you're already in. There's nothing you can do to back up.
But it does pull you down. Because while people go, well, Penn State doesn't have a win on their schedule. I get it, but they don't have a Kentucky loss. If Indiana goes 11-1, you can make the argument that they beat nobody, but they didn't lose to Kentucky. The Kentucky thing's bad. It's not going to keep you out of the tournament, though.
No.
And to answer Webb's question earlier, do I think Ole Miss could go on a run and win the whole thing? I do.
There's no reason they can't.
To me, there are 5 teams. Someone did your live, and they asked you, are there 6 teams? And you got to 5, and then you struggled with 6.
Yeah.
I think there are 5 teams that have a legitimate shot to win the national title. And
Oregon, Ohio State, Ole Miss, Georgia, Alabama.
That's it. Those 5.
Maybe Texas, but I don't know yet.
I need to see something more.
I don't.
I'm not. I would
if Texas goes and beats the shit out of Texas A&M, I'll be like, yep.
Yeah, sure. But I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Texas so far, their 2 best wins are Arkansas and Vanderbilt. So I'm not ready to go there. And they struggled a little bit with Arkansas. And they struggled a lot bit with Vanderbilt. So I'm not ready to go there. I think they're good, but I don't think we haven't – if they're elite, they haven't shown us yet. I've seen enough in spots from Alabama, from Georgia, from Oregon, from Ole Miss, and I'm going to say Ohio State. I think I'm giving them a little bit of brand credit, if I'm honest.
They got enough ass to kick ass when they play.
They do. I think those 5 teams could go on a run and win the whole thing.
And to me, it depends on somebody asked me why, because here was who I predicted to win the conference title. See,
and I'm a little higher on Notre Dame than most people. Like if they got the right draw, they could get somewhere. I just don't know that they're athletic enough to win the whole thing.
I think they'll struggle when they matchups, just all matchups with them. You know, well, that's what you just said, the draw. Here's what I said on the titles, and we'll get out of here. Predicting an SEC title winner, I think it's Alabama. I think Alabama's going to get there versus the winner of the Texas A&M Texas game.
Yeah,
I think they beat either one of those teams. So I picked Alabama to win the SEC.
So that's where Bama's going to move up into the 2.
Right. And so
in that world,
Texas, if Texas is there as a
Texas would fall to the 6 if they beat A&M. And if Texas didn't beat A&M and A&M got there, I think A&M would fall below Ole Miss in the ranks.
Yes, but they would get a bye if they won a game.
If they won. Mm-hmm. Texas A&M could still get the 2 seed. Got to beat Auburn, got to beat Texas, and got to beat Alabama.
Yeah, they could get the 2 seed.
They could get the 2 seed.
Yeah, that's a lot, but they could. All right.
Yeah, it's a lot.
All right, so Big Ten. I said Ohio State. The only reason I said that is I think Ohio State gets there, and I think it's tough to beat a team twice. So they lost by 1 point at Oregon, neutral field. I picked
OSU
State.
would get the 1, Oregon would get the 5.
Yep, in that scenario.
Yep.
ACC.
And then so continuing for a minute, here's where I think the seedings come. If Penn State beats Minnesota, they're 11-1. Their only loss is to Ohio State. They'd be the 7.
Yes.
They'd be the 7. If Notre Dame wins, out. I think Notre Dame's going to get the 8.
At 11-1, yeah. 11-1 Notre Dame's getting a home game.
Right. They're going to get the 8. And so then you get into the SEC teams. At that point, you've got Georgia, Ole Miss. It could go either way.
The only thing is if the committee goes, again, I'm going to say this. I said it yesterday. I'm going to keep saying it. I think the committee is going to do everything in their power, even if they got to move shit, everything in their power to make the SEC and the Big Ten equally happy. So
Yeah.
in the world where
You're
don't
saying
have
where they have a host?
where like, okay, let's say it's Georgia, whatever.
Then you might make Georgia the 8 and Notre Dame the 9.
Right.
And send Notre Dame to Athens. You make Ole Miss the 10. You send them to, who'd we say, Penn State in that spot?
Yeah.
Because in this, well, hold on. See, this is the problem.
Then you have an Ole Miss Georgia debate.
What's the Indiana Ohio State score?
I think it's going to be about the line.
All right. Well, then
14 to 17.
So now I've got a 1-loss Indiana, and their only loss is at Ohio State.
I think they'll still. I think they'll do.
So where did they're up? Are they in the 7-8 range, or do they fall into the 9-10 range?
I think they're a road team.
You think Indiana gets
If
on
they
the
lose.
road?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. ACC. I think SMU is the ACC champs.
So they'd be the 3.
Yeah. And then Big 12. Give me the Arizona State Sun Devils.
And they'd be the 4. Okay.
And the only reason I'm saying that is I think that I actually think I think Arizona State's going to win it. I think they're the best matchup on neutral field.
Yeah, I have a hard. People in the thread are talking about getting Ole Miss a home game. I have a hard time getting them there. It's because you got to get them to the 8, and
it would take upsets.
It would take
like Georgia Tech beating Georgia.
Well, yeah, of course, but we're talking about upsets now.
Yeah,
I mean, if everything goes close to chalk,
it'd be hard.
They're just not going to get there.
All right, so and then I think again. Boise's playing with fire, man. If somebody can beat Boise, then I think Tulane gets in. But Boise's going to have to lose. But I do think they'll be the 12th seed on the road against the 5, and you still want to be the 5 seed.
All right, we got to roll. Appreciate everybody for being with us in the stream. We've been brought to you by our friends at Rain Total Body Fuel. 300 milligrams, natural caffeine, BCAAs, electrolytes, zero sugar. It's got what you need to push the limits and achieve your goals. Check them out on Instagram at Rain Body Fuel to learn more.
Scoops are also brought to you by our good friends at Kia Meridian. Are you looking for an unbeatable deal? Kia Meridian has you covered with rates as low as 1.9% on new rides, whether it's the ever-popular Telluride, the Sorrento, the Sportage, or the K5. We've got something for everyone, plus a huge selection of new and used vehicles. And here's the best part. With any new or used vehicles you purchase, you get a chance to spin the wheel and win awesome prizes like a PS5, an Xbox, a TV, and more. Don't wait. Come by Kia Meridian or call 601-483-6444 and drive away a winner today. Kia Meridian, your road, your ride, your deal. Scoops are also brought to you by our good friend Brandon and our good friends at PTG Outdoors. From cycling and running watches to tax indoor cycling, Garmin brings innovation to your fitness journey. Do you know what would make a great Christmas gift? Purchasing a Garmin watch for your favorite outdoorsman, runner, jogger, swimmer, or whatever, because you can track health and metrics, explore maps, and enjoy GPS precision for cycling, golf, and outdoor adventures. Dive deeper with swim tracking, train smarter with dog tracking tools, and monitor performance on land and water. Explore Garmin's range, including smartwatches, scales, and advanced off-road instruments available now at ptgoutdoors.com. And do not forget, when you go to PTG Outdoors and you purchase your Garmin watch or your scales or whatever it is, make sure that you enter MPW in the promo code. MPW in the promo code. What's that going to do? That's going to enter you to win the Garmin Tread Power Sport GPS ride radio that Brandon and PTG Outdoors is giving away for free at the end of the month of November. It's going to give it away for free. All you got to do is make a purchase at ptgoutdoors.com, any purchase, and put MPW in a promo code. Enter to win that big-time Christmas gift for your favorite outdoorsman.
We will be back on Thursday with another edition of McCready and Siskey. Appreciate everyone in the stream for being with us today. Talk to you guys again soon. Have a great rest of your middle of the week.